On the planet Zorath, far away from Earth, lived a young woman named Myra. The people of Zorath were very proud and strong. They had many rules about how a person should look and behave. Those who did not follow these rules were often left alone and forgotten. Myra was one of those people. From the moment she was born, Myra knew she was different. Her eyes were softer than others, and her smile was gentle. While other children played loudly and competed to be the strongest, Myra liked to sit quietly under the blue trees, watching the stars. The other children called her strange and made fun of her. Her family was kind but worried. They told her she must be tougher, more like the others. But Myra's heart was full of kindness, and she did not want to be rough or cruel. She believed that being gentle was not a weakness but a strength. Yet, the people of Zorath did not see it this way. As Myra grew older, the loneliness around her grew too. No one wanted to marry her because she was different. In the society of Zorath, marriage was very important. It meant strength and honor. Many young women competed for the strongest and most respected men. Myra, with her quiet nature, was not chosen by any. One evening, as the twin suns of Zorath set, painting the sky in shades of purple and orange, Myra sat alone on a hill overlooking the village. Her heart ached with a deep sadness. She whispered to the stars above, "Why am I not like the others? Why does no one want me?" Suddenly, a soft wind brushed her face, as if the universe was listening. Myra closed her eyes and made a wish to be accepted, to be loved for who she truly was. At that moment, far beyond her planet, a small spaceship moved through space. It carried humans from Earth, a planet Myra had heard stories about. The humans were brave and kind, explorers who traveled to many stars. Myra's people told many strange tales about them, but no one had ever met one. Myra was curious. She dreamed of meeting a human, hoping they might see her differently. Maybe, she thought, a human will understand me. The next day, news spread that a ship from Earth had landed near the edge of the village. The people of Zorath gathered in fear and excitement. Some wanted to fight the strangers. Others wanted to watch from a safe distance. Myra felt her heart beat faster. This was her chance. She decided she would meet the human leader. She wanted to speak to him, to tell him her story, and maybe, just maybe, find a friend. She walked carefully through the crowd until she reached the ship. It was shiny and unlike anything she had ever seen. The door opened, and a man stepped out. His name was Aaron. He was tall, with kind eyes and a calm voice. He looked at the world around him with interest, but he also seemed lonely, like Myra. When their eyes met, something changed. Myra felt hope for the first time in her life. Without fear, she stepped forward and asked, "Will you be my husband?" The crowd gasped. The humans looked surprised, and the Zorathians whispered in shock. No one had ever asked such a question to a human before. It was bold and unexpected. Aaron blinked. He was not sure what to say. But he saw the truth in Myra's eyes, the truth of a heart that longed to be loved. He smiled gently and said, "Let's talk first. Tell me about you." Myra nodded, feeling a spark of happiness. Maybe this was the start of something new. Maybe, finally, she would find a place where she belonged. As the sun set behind them, two very different people began a journey together, a journey of courage, hope, and a chance to change their worlds forever. The morning sun rose slowly over the horizon of Zorath, casting a soft glow on the alien landscape. The village buzzed with excitement and fear. The humans from the distant blue planet Earth had arrived, and no one knew what would happen next. Aaron, the human commander, stood near his ship, watching the crowd. He was calm but alert. His team had trained for this moment for many months, but nothing could prepare them for the unknown. They were explorers, not conquerors. Their mission was to learn, to make friends, and to understand. Myra stood nearby, her heart beating fast. She watched Aaron carefully. He seemed different from the stories she had heard. He was kind, and his eyes showed respect for the strange new world around him. Myra felt a strange feeling inside hope. The villagers whispered among themselves. Some were angry. Why should we trust these strangers, they said. Others were curious. Maybe they can bring new knowledge, they whispered. The elder of the village, a tall and serious man named Voker, stepped forward. He raised his hand, calling for silence. We welcome you to Zorath, he said in a deep voice. But know this, our ways are old and strong. We do not give trust easily. Aaron nodded respectfully. We come in peace, he said clearly. We want to learn about your world and share our own. Voker's eyes narrowed. We shall see. Myra felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. She wanted to help Aaron and his people understand Zorath. She stepped forward and said, I will be your guide. The villagers gasped. Myra, the outcast, was offering to help the strangers. It was a bold move. Some smiled quietly. Others frowned. Aaron looked at Myra. Why do you want to help us? He asked gently. Myra looked down for a moment, then met his gaze. Because no one wanted me, she said simply. Maybe you will. Aaron felt a sadness in her words but also strength. He nodded. Then let us begin. Over the next few days, Aaron and his team explored the village and the nearby lands with Myra as their guide. She showed them the blue forests where glowing plants grew, the crystal-clear rivers, and the ancient ruins left by a long-lost civilization. Aaron asked many questions. He wanted to understand the customs and traditions of Zorath. Myra answered patiently, explaining the rules her people lived by and the reasons behind their strict ways. One evening, after a long day, Aaron and Myra sat together on the hill where Myra had first made her wish to the stars. The twin suns were setting again, casting a warm light. Aaron spoke softly. Your world is beautiful. But why are you so alone? Myra smiled sadly. Because I am different. My people want me to be strong and fierce like them. But I am not. I am kind and gentle. They think that makes me weak. Aaron looked at her carefully. Sometimes, being kind is the greatest strength of all. Myra's eyes brightened. You really believe that? I do, Aaron said firmly. On Earth, we learn that true strength comes from understanding and helping others. It is not always about power. Myra felt a warmth in her heart. For the first time, someone truly understood her. But not everyone in the village agreed with Aaron's words. Some of the villagers saw Myra's friendship with the human as a threat. They whispered that the humans could not be trusted and that Myra was breaking the rules. Voker, the village elder, grew angry when he heard the rumors. He summoned Myra to the council chamber. The room was filled with stern faces. Myra, Voker said coldly, you have brought strangers into our home and asked one to be your husband. This is not the way of Zorath. Why have you done this? Myra stood tall despite her fear. Because I believe in a better way, she said. I believe that kindness and courage can bring our worlds together. Voker shook his head. You are an outcast, Myra. Your actions could bring danger to us all. Aaron stepped forward. I will protect Myra and your people. I want peace, not war. The council murmured. They were unsure what to think of this human who spoke so boldly. That night, Myra lay awake, thinking about what had happened. She knew that her people were afraid of change. But she also knew that Aaron and the humans were different. They could bring hope to her lonely world. She made a promise to herself, no matter what happened, she would fight for the chance to show her people that being different was not wrong. That kindness was a power that could change everything. The next morning, Myra met Aaron at the edge of the village. She looked at him and said quietly, "Thank you for believing in me." Aaron smiled. Together, we will face whatever comes. As the twin suns rose once more, Two worlds began to come closer, brought together by courage, hope, and a simple question that no one had expected. The days passed quickly on Zorath, but the tension in the air grew heavier. The village was divided. Some watched Myra with new eyes, curious about her friendship with Aaron, the human commander. Others whispered harsh words, saying she had betrayed their ways. Aaron, however, remained patient and calm. He understood that trust takes time to build, especially between two very different peoples. He spent his days talking with the villagers, learning about their customs, and sharing stories about Earth. One afternoon, Aaron met with Voker, the village elder, beneath the towering blue trees. The air was cool, and soft light filtered through the leaves. Voker was a strong man with a deep voice and sharp eyes. He did not trust Aaron yet, but he was willing to listen. "We have watched your actions," Voker said. "You care for Myra, and you speak of peace. But how can we be sure that humans are different from others who came before?" Aaron nodded. "I understand your doubt. On Earth, there are many different people, some kind and some cruel. But I believe that our strength comes from kindness and respect. I want to prove that to you." Voker raised an eyebrow. "Prove it? How?" Aaron smiled. "I accept a challenge." The elder looked surprised. "A challenge?" "Yes," Aaron said firmly. "If I can show your people that humans are honorable and brave, will you accept my bond with Myra?" Voker thought for a moment. Then, he agreed. "Very well. We will test you." Word spread quickly that Aaron had accepted a challenge from the elders. The villagers gathered, eager to see what would happen. The trial would be difficult. Aaron and Myra would face 3 tasks, each designed to test their courage, wisdom, and loyalty. The first task was called the Path of Winds. It was a dangerous journey through a narrow canyon where fierce storms often roared. Many had tried to cross before but failed. Only those with strong will and steady hearts could make it through. Aaron and Myra prepared for the journey. They packed supplies and studied the map carefully. Myra's heart beat fast with nervous excitement. She knew this was more than just a test, it was a chance to prove that their bond was real. As they stepped into the canyon, dark clouds gathered overhead. The wind howled, pushing against them with great force. Aaron held Myra's hand tightly. Together, they moved forward, steady and sure. At one point, a sudden gust nearly knocked Myra off a narrow ledge. Aaron caught her just in time. "We must trust each other," he said calmly. Myra nodded. "Together, we are stronger." After hours of struggle, they reached the end of the canyon. Exhausted but victorious, they looked back at the path they had crossed. The villagers who had followed from a distance cheered softly. The first task was complete. The second task was the test of wisdom. In the village temple, a puzzle awaited them. It was an ancient riddle written on a stone tablet. Voker spoke, "Answer this riddle, and you will show your minds are as strong as your hearts." The riddle was tricky, speaking of stars, time, and the cycles of life. Aaron and Myra studied the tablet together. They talked quietly, sharing ideas and listening to each other. After some thought, Myra's eyes lit up. "The answer is balance," she said. "Like the stars and the seasons, everything must be in balance." Aaron smiled. "I agree. Balance is important in life and in relationships." Voker nodded slowly. "You have answered well." The final task was the test of loyalty. Aaron and Myra had to protect a sacred place in the village from a simulated attack. It was a test of trust and courage. When the challenge began, strange machines appeared, firing harmless but bright beams. Aaron and Myra worked together to defend the temple, using strategy and quick thinking. Myra called out to the villagers, "Stay safe and trust us." Aaron protected Myra when she was cornered, and she returned the favor when he was caught off guard. Their teamwork was perfect. When the test ended, the elders stood in silence, then slowly began to clap. The crowd joined in, and for the first time, Myra felt the warmth of acceptance. Voker approached Aaron and Myra. "You have passed the trials," he said. "You have shown courage, wisdom, and loyalty. The council agrees to honor your bond." Myra's eyes filled with tears of joy. Aaron smiled warmly, feeling the weight of this moment. Later that night, under the stars, Aaron and Myra sat together. "We did it," Myra whispered. "They believe in us." Aaron took her hand gently. "This is just the beginning. Together, we will build a future where no one is left out." Myra nodded, hope shining in her heart. "I want to help my people see that kindness is strength." As the twin moons rose above Zorith, a new chapter began, not just for Aaron and Myra, but for two worlds learning to understand each other. The news of Aaron and Myra passing the trials spread quickly through the village of Zorith. Some villagers whispered words of hope, while others muttered doubts. Change was never easy, and many still feared what the future might bring. The council elders gathered once more in the great hall. Voker, the village elder, stood at the center, his expression serious. "Though the trials are over, the question remains," he said. "Can we truly trust these humans? Are they worthy of joining our world?" Myra sat quietly among the crowd, her heart pounding. She knew the trials had shown something important, but deep inside, she felt there was still more to prove. The people needed to see the true nature of the humans, not just their bravery or wisdom, but their honor. Voker's voice echoed through the hall. "Therefore, I propose a final challenge. A test of honor and courage for the human and the Zorithian. If the human can prove his worth, we will welcome him and Myra as one." The crowd fell silent. The challenge was set. It would be difficult and dangerous. Aaron looked at Myra, determination shining in his eyes. "I accept this challenge," Aaron said calmly. Myra reached for his hand. "I will be with you." The next morning, the challenge began. Aaron was to enter the Forest of Shadows, a vast and mysterious place near the edge of the village. It was known for its thick fog, strange sounds, and hidden dangers. Few had ever crossed it and returned quickly. The elders explained, "Within the forest lies a sacred stone. You must find it and bring it back without harm. This will show your respect for our world and your courage." As Aaron stepped into the forest, Myra watched with both hope and fear. The trees were tall and twisted, and the fog wrapped around everything like a soft blanket. Strange noises echoed through the air, calls of unknown creatures and the rustling of leaves. Aaron moved carefully, his senses alert. He thought about his people on Earth, about his training, but most of all, he thought about Myra. Her courage had inspired him. Hours passed. Aaron faced many obstacles. Sharp rocks, slippery paths, and sudden drops tested his strength and focus. Once, he heard a growl nearby and saw glowing eyes staring from the shadows. He stood still, breathing slowly, not showing fear. The creature watched him, then disappeared. Finally, Aaron spotted a faint glow ahead. The sacred stone lay on a pedestal, shining softly in the mist. He approached slowly, careful not to touch anything else. Just as he reached out to take the stone, the ground trembled. A large root, alive and moving, rose to block his path. Aaron realized the forest itself was testing him. He remembered Myra's words, "Kindness and respect are strength." Aaron spoke calmly to the root, "I mean no harm. I come with respect for your world and its people." The root moved aside, allowing him to take the stone. Aaron held the stone carefully and made his way back through the forest. The path seemed easier now, as if the forest accepted him. When Aaron emerged, the crowd cheered. Myra ran to him, her eyes shining. "You did it," she said. Aaron smiled, tired but proud. "We did it together." That evening, Voker called a meeting of the council. The elders examined the sacred stone, then looked at Aaron and Myra. "You have proven your courage and honor," Voker said. "Your respect for our world is true. Some villagers stood and clapped. Others nodded slowly, beginning to understand. Voker continued, "It is time for a new beginning. Aaron, will you stand with Myra, not just as a friend, but as her partner?" Aaron looked at Myra and then at the council. "Yes. I will." Myra's heart swelled with joy. The outcast had found acceptance. The villagers began to see that strength was not only in power or tradition, but also in kindness and trust. Aaron and Myra's bond was a symbol of hope. As the stars twinkled above Zorith that night, Aaron and Myra knew their journey was just beginning. Together, they would face the challenges ahead and build a future where everyone belonged. The village of Zorith buzzed with anticipation. Aaron and Myra's success in the final challenge brought hope, but it also brought new questions. Could two very different people truly change old traditions? The council decided to hold one last test, a trial of trust and loyalty that would show the true strength of Aaron and Myra's bond. The trial would take place in the Valley of Echoes, a sacred place known for its silence and mystery. There, Aaron and Myra would face 3 tasks that tested their hearts and their ability to work together. On the morning of the trial, Myra and Aaron stood at the edge of the valley. The air was cool, and the ground was soft with moss. The valley was surrounded by tall cliffs that made every sound louder and clearer. Voker, the elder, spoke to the gathered crowd. "This trial is not only for the 2 of you but for all of us. It will show if your bond is true and strong. Trust in each other, and you will succeed." Myra took a deep breath. She looked at Aaron and smiled. "We will do this together." The first task was the test of courage. They had to cross a narrow bridge made of thin vines hanging over a deep ravine. Below, dark shadows moved, and the wind whispered strange words. Myra stepped forward, her feet steady. Aaron followed close behind. The vines swayed, making the crossing difficult. Halfway across, a sudden gust shook the bridge. Myra's heart jumped, but she held Aaron's hand tightly. "We can do this," she said. Aaron nodded. Step by step. Together, they crossed the bridge, their hands never letting go. When they reached the other side, the crowd watching from above clapped softly. The second task was the test of wisdom. Aaron and Myra entered a small cave filled with glowing crystals. In the center was a puzzle, a series of stones with strange symbols. Myra studied the symbols carefully. Aaron noticed that the symbols matched patterns they had seen in the ruins near the village. Working together, they arranged the stones in the right order. When the last stone was placed, the crystals lit up, filling the cave with a gentle light. "It is done," Myra said softly. The crowd outside cheered quietly, understanding the meaning of their success. The third and final task was the test of loyalty. Aaron and Myra were separated and taken to different parts of the valley. Each had to find the other using only the sound of their voice. Myra closed her eyes and called out, "Aaron! Aaron, where are you?" Far away, Aaron heard her voice. He answered, "Myra! I am here. Follow my voice." The valley echoed with their words, making it hard to know which way to go. Myra listened carefully, moving slowly toward the sound. Meanwhile, Aaron moved through thick bushes and rocks, calling her name with hope. After a long search, they finally found each other near a small stream. They smiled with relief and joy. "We did it," Aaron said. "Yes, together," Myra replied. When they returned to the village, the council was waiting. Voker stepped forward, his face softer than before. "You have passed the trial," he said. "Your bond is strong and true. You have shown us that courage, wisdom, and loyalty come from the heart, not just tradition." The villagers began to applaud, many with tears in their eyes. Myra felt the warmth of acceptance wash over her like sunlight. Aaron took Myra's hand and spoke to the crowd. "Our worlds are different, but our hearts are the same. Together, we can build a future where no one is alone." Myra looked around at the smiling faces. For the first time in her life, she felt she belonged. That night, under the twin moons of Zorith, Aaron and Myra sat side by side, dreaming of what was to come. They knew there would be challenges ahead, but their trust in each other was unbreakable. And so, the story of the outcast and the human commander became a legend, a story of hope, courage, and the power of love to change the universe. After the trial in the Valley of Echoes, life in the village of Zorith began to change slowly but surely. Aaron and Myra's bond had brought hope to many, and the people started to see that kindness and trust could create something stronger than fear or anger. Myra walked through the village one morning, feeling a gentle breeze on her face. Children smiled at her, and some even waved. It was a new feeling, one of acceptance and warmth. For so long, she had been alone, but now, she felt part of something greater. Aaron was busy with his team, working with the villagers to improve their technology and share knowledge. Humans had many tools and ideas that could help the people of Zorith live better and safer lives. Aaron believed that the future was about sharing and learning from one another. One day, as Myra and Aaron walked through the blue forest, Aaron stopped and looked at Myra. "Our worlds are very different," he said. "But when we stand together, we can face anything." Myra smiled. "I believe that too. We have already changed so much. But there is still more to do." Suddenly, a loud alarm sounded from the village. The peaceful morning was broken by the warning bells. The villagers gathered quickly, their faces serious. Voker appeared, speaking to the crowd. "A ship has been seen approaching our planet. It is not like Aaron's people. We do not know their intentions." Myra felt a cold wave of fear. The threat was real. Her people's fears were not gone, they were only hidden for a time. Aaron stood beside Myra. "We must be ready," he said calmly. "But we must also be careful. We cannot let fear guide us." The villagers prepared defenses and gathered together. Aaron and his team worked to strengthen the shield around the village, using human technology mixed with Zorithian power. That night, under the stars, Myra and Aaron stood on the hill where their journey had begun. "Do you think they will come in peace?" Myra asked softly. Aaron shook his head. "I don't know. But whatever happens, we face it together." The next day, the new ship arrived. It was larger and more powerful than Aaron's. Strange creatures disembarked, tall and fierce-looking warriors who spoke a language no one understood. The villagers were afraid. Some wanted to fight immediately. But Aaron raised his hand. "Wait," he said. "Let us try to talk." Using a translator device, Aaron and Myra approached the strangers. Slowly, the creatures listened. Aaron explained their peaceful mission and the bond he shared with Myra. The leader of the newcomers, a tall warrior named Kron, studied Aaron carefully. "Why do you trust these people?" Kron asked Myra. Myra looked at Aaron and then back at Kron. "Because he has shown me kindness and respect," she said. "Sometimes, trust is the first step to peace." Kron nodded slowly. "Perhaps there is wisdom in your words." Over the next days, Aaron, Myra, and Kron talked often. The newcomers were not enemies but travelers from a distant star, lost and seeking a new home. The village leaders agreed to offer help, and in return, the newcomers promised to respect Zoritha's laws and traditions. A new alliance was formed not just between humans and Zorithians but among many different beings who dreamed of peace. Myra felt proud. The outcast was now a leader, a symbol of hope and unity. Aaron's presence had changed her world, but her courage had changed theirs too. As the twin moons rose, Myra and Aaron stood together, watching the stars. They knew the future was uncertain, but with trust and kindness, they could face any challenge. Together, they welcomed a new dawn, a dawn of friendship, courage, and endless possibilities. The night was calm, and the stars were shining brightly in the sky. The little village seemed to be sleeping peacefully, but inside one small house, Ayan was wide awake. He was sitting near the window, looking outside with thoughtful eyes. The journey of the past few weeks was still fresh in his mind. He had seen challenges, faced fears, and also discovered a strength inside him that he never knew he had. Life had changed in many ways. Ayan was no longer the quiet boy who only dreamed but never tried. Now he was the boy who had walked through difficulties and returned with stories of courage. People in the village had started noticing his new confidence. Children wanted to sit with him and listen to his experiences, while elders gave him warm smiles whenever they saw him in the streets. One morning, Ayan decided to visit the old library of the village. That library was a place he always loved, but for many years, it was almost empty. Not many people went there anymore. Dust covered the shelves, and books were lying in corners like forgotten treasures. When Ayan entered, he felt a wave of calmness. The smell of old paper and wooden shelves reminded him of his childhood days when he would sit in the library for hours, lost in stories. While walking around, his eyes stopped at a thick book with a golden cover. It looked special, almost glowing under the sunlight that came through the window. He picked it up carefully and opened the first page. Inside, there was a handwritten note, "For the one who searches for light, this book will guide the way." Ayan felt curious. He began to read, and soon he was lost in the words. The book was not an ordinary one. It told stories of people who had overcome difficulties, stories of kindness, wisdom, and courage. Each page felt like it was speaking directly to him. It was as if the book knew his thoughts, his worries, and his dreams. Day after day, Ayan returned to the library. He read more, and with every story, he felt his heart grow stronger. The book spoke about patience, about helping others, and about the power of hope. It reminded him that true strength was not only in fighting challenges but also in lifting others up when they fell. One day, while reading, Ayan heard a soft voice behind him. "Do you really believe in those words?" It was Zara, a kind and intelligent girl from the village. She often helped her family in the fields and was known for her cheerful smile. Ayan looked up and nodded. "Yes, I do. These words feel real, as if they are meant for all of us." Zara smiled. "Then maybe we should not keep them to ourselves. Maybe we can share them with everyone in the village." Her idea made Ayan think. The village had many people who were struggling. Some felt hopeless, some were tired of their difficulties, and some had forgotten how to dream. If the words of the Golden Book could inspire him, then surely they could inspire others too. So, together, Ayan and Zara started a small gathering in the evenings. At first, only a few children came, curious to listen. Ayan would read from the Golden Book, and Zara would explain the meaning in simple words. Slowly, more people joined. Elders came, families came, and soon the small gatherings turned into a beautiful circle of hope. The village began to change. People started helping one another more. Smiles became common, and laughter returned to the streets. Even those who were once silent and sad began to share their thoughts. The Golden Book had become a light, and Ayan was happy to see that light spreading. One evening, after the gathering, Zara said softly, "Do you see how far you have come? You once sat alone by your window, unsure of yourself. Now, you are giving hope to an entire village." Ayan smiled. "I only followed the words of the book. Maybe this was the purpose I was searching for." But deep inside, Ayan knew it was more than the book. It was his own journey, his courage to stand, and his heart that believed in goodness. The book was a guide, but it was he who walked the path. The story did not end there. Ayan still had many dreams. He wanted to travel beyond the village, to bring back more knowledge, and to share wisdom wherever he went. Zara, too, wished to join him, for she believed journeys were always brighter when shared with friends. The stars above the village kept shining, as if watching their steps with care. Ayan felt ready for whatever was waiting ahead. Life had taught him that no darkness could last forever, and even in the hardest times, there was always a small light. One only needed the courage to search for it. And so, with hope in his heart and determination in his eyes, Ayan prepared for the next chapter of his journey. The Golden Book remained in the library, safe for anyone who wished to read it, but its lessons were already alive in the hearts of the people. The village, once quiet and forgotten, was now filled with new dreams and new beginnings.